All right, what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well today. Tuesday. This is the Keep Steppin podcast, episode one. We're definitely trying to figure things out. It's definitely a learning experience. So appreciate everybody watching and just being able to work through this new area that we're trying to expand into. My name is Seabass Clayton Ashcraft. Those of you know me, those of you that don't, I've been running Step by Step since 2011, as well with Joshua Mack and Addison Johnson. We've had reps over so many years, and yeah, we're just so grateful. Again, just being able to have this opportunity to kind of discuss what's going on within this community, within just the opportunities that we've been able to travel the world, film dancers, and have the ability to uh, learn from all these dancers, learn the cultures, learn the backgrounds, and find the ability to connect people. So many different stories that I'm sure as this podcast continues to progress uh, with technology, with um, interviewing different guests, having the opportunity to do these podcasts on the road as we go to events, as we film dancers, as we organize and throw our own events. Specifically, I have one coming up called Footprints Dance Retreat at the end of March. I know Addison has another hip hop expo in Minnesota coming up in May at Dick's Sporting Goods, Dick's House of Sports. Anyways, yeah. So like we are just trying to expand to these different areas. Podcast is definitely something I've been on before with other people. But as far as doing this with Step by Step, it's definitely something new. And learning the technology of it is definitely like learning a new dance, learning a new style, and the foundations of being able to grow and to post this to different avenues. You know, we have so many different social media avenues now, posting reels. So yeah, again, this is a learning experience for everybody, and like I said, we're just grateful to have this podcast rolling, and we're just going to keep moving forward. So I thought I would kind of give you guys an idea of what the podcast is going to be about, and then we'll just jump into some of the topics that we feel like are important. Um, so, over the course of this podcast, if you guys know anything about Step by Step, if you know anything about me, we've always wanted to keep Step by Step kind of like the ESPN of the street dance community, and to be able to cover dancers from all over the world, to have reps, you know, going out and shooting content for us, whether it's freestyles, choreography, doing interviews, reaching out to brands that are influenced by the community, dancers that start their own brands, a wide range of topics that go from the industry to the culture. So we want to definitely hit on a lot of different topics. And again, this is going to expand over the course of, um, yeah, coming up into this year. Yeah, again, I'm just having thoughts in my mind. Like it's just being a freestyle dancer, you always have these thoughts and these ideas that come in your mind. Same with choreography too. It all starts with the freestyle. So that's why, like in my mind, I'm kind of thinking, oh shoot, should I say it like this? Should I do this? But again, it's just a really cool opportunity that we have to be able to discuss these topics, and we've kind of been doing our own podcasts and everything over the years, all the different people that we've interviewed. I'm just going to shoot a video real quick so I can put this up on Instagram. So anybody that is listening to this, definitely, we're just like, again, shooting a little bit video so that we can, post it up on Instagram and get people here talking. Anyways, yeah. So over the years, like just being able to interview people, going to different events, and being able to discuss all aspects of the community, you know, whether it's judging, whether it's organizing an event, whether it's dancing at an event. When you're not dancing, what are you doing? How's your life affected? So there's a wide range of topics out there that we want to discuss, and this podcast gives us the opportunity to do that. Um, Keep stepping is something we've always said since the beginning. It kind of just flowed, and it was one of those things where like keep stepping. It's just all part of like life, um, where you just keep stepping forward. Even if you take a step back, once you keep stepping, you're stepping forward. So that's why wanting to name something like keep stepping is important to me. And actually, Josh was like, "Yo, we should call it Keep Steppin'." I'm like, "Yeah, that's uh, well, what we've always called it, or at least what we've always said to people, like, yo, keep stepping." Um, and so part of being able to expand this podcast is to have other guests come on and to get to know them outside of being at an event. Because for us, it's really interesting preparing for the event, preparing your camera, preparing to travel, preparing to reach out to the organizers, reach out to dancers. Am I just gonna go there and film the event and then that's it? Are there workshops? Are there people that want to get down on a freestyle? Is there more events? So these are all different topics that we want to discuss. And I think Step by Step provides a really good uh, platform for dancers to do that. If you've seen our interviews with the twins, Les Twins, if you've seen our other interviews with any other dancers that we've sat down with and just asked them questions about their life, that people are always really comfortable with us and being able to kind of speak on topics that are important to them and share really inspiring words. So we're really kind of grateful that at this point of our life, the life of Step by Step, which is now again like 13 years, we have the ability to move forward and to discuss these topics on this platform and in more of a long range form. Um, we have this opportunity with podcasts also to work with other dancers who have their own podcasts and to try to network and build each other. Because again, being able to get this these thoughts out of our mind, the thoughts out of our heart. It's just really important for us to discuss these things and not just go to these dance events. And maybe again, when you're preparing for an event, all right, am I going to do a podcast, afterwards at the hotel or afterwards somewhere in the community? These are a lot of things that as um, videographers, as people who are capturing history of this community, there's a lot more to it than just showing up. Again, it's preparing the SD cards, preparing the batteries, preparing to understand what the event's all about. Is it popping? Is it breaking? Is it open styles, all styles, freestyle? Um, we just got back from Breaking Hearts in Albuquerque. Big shout out to Sugar Shane and Cyrus. Been holding it down. They just had Breaking Hearts 21. So we hadn't been there in 10 years. So it was a really cool opportunity to go back and to reconnect with people, and to meet new people too that have been able to watch Step by Step over the years. Again, we got our content. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening just on podcasts, we got our footage in the background. But again, just kind of going on a tangent here, just about different topics that we want to discuss, um, and just being able to share what we've learned, share what dancers have learned, what organizers have learned, what these businessmen and women have learned. We just want to be able to grow this community and leave something that people can go back to and have the opportunity to find something, some nugget that will help them with their goals. Because again, like when we're training, um, is interesting. Like Breesley in one of his workshops, he was talking about like training, sessioning, and practicing, and like there was a difference between all of those. Training is when it could be different for everybody, but like training, you're really serious. You're training for something. When you're sessioning, you're kind of just going to a session and you're just getting down and vibing. You might try some new things. Then practicing is like you are focusing on like specific details with maybe somebody. And then I guess you could also uh, use that as like private mentoring, like when you reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'd like to learn like Mr. Wiggles, or doing privates, like those are things you want to specifically grow. So I think it's kind of like that with this podcast. There may be days when we're sessioning. There may be days when we're practicing. There may be days when we're training. But we're going to be trying to do this every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific, just so we can keep a schedule. In my mind, too, that for me is kind of like a Monday morning quarterback when it comes to our dance community. It's really interesting how we after an event, because I was thinking like Monday morning quarterback, when you think about it, like in the NFL, like you're feeling it, right? Like that's the whole Monday morning quarterback. Like I just got through this game. I got hit really hard. Did we win? Did we lose? How do you feel? And you're kind of like, I guess people would think it to be like agitated. Oh, I'm agitated or whatever, or reflection or recovery. And so for me, I was thinking like, all right, well, dancers get finished with an event over the weekend, sometimes two events, sometimes three. Like Vegas a few weeks ago, there was three events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and just took me out. Um, and I kind of just needed um, an extra day. Like it wasn't just Monday I needed like Tuesday as well. And so that's why like Tuesday for us, I think for dancers is kind of like a good, all right, maybe we traveled home on Monday and we're just kind of getting our bearings back together. And so Tuesday, we're kind of just, all right, now we can reflect, now we can recover, and now we can revitalize and, prepare for the next weekend. So that's why like Tuesday for us is just our day to keep stepping. We had a little bit of time to recover. Maybe we need a little more time to recover, and we need to find those golden nuggets. We need to talk it out. We need to keep resting. So that to me is why we do it on Tuesday, and not like on a Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. So yeah, step by step podcast, man, keep stepping. This is again such a great opportunity for us to have the ability to again speak to different dancers. You can go to our YouTube. You can see all those different interviews. Again, we got the footage from Breaking Hearts showing in the background. We'll probably keep that. Those of you that are on YouTube are watching that. Those of you that are going to be listening to this in different mediums, we're showing footage from Breaking Hearts 21 in Albuquerque this last weekend, and yeah, we just want to be able to show what we've been able to do, and a lot of the content we've been able to capture. We're almost about to hit 119,000 followers on YouTube. We're grateful for that. Between both YouTubes, I mean, we've got close to 160, 170,000 followers. And then we also have, almost 100 million views between all of our different channels. So it's just, again, a place of gratitude that we've been able to cover these dancers for so many years. And we've got so many more years to cover dancers and to go out there and do these interviews and have these podcasts and discuss all these different topics. So That was a little bit too much of a tangent, but it was kind of a good opportunity for us to um, kind of preview what this podcast is going to discuss. Uh, I'll probably, again, this is kind of just a session right now. It's not necessarily a practice or a training. Maybe it's all three of them, to be honest. So I'd say that this first podcast is all three of those together: a session, a practice, a train, just to get these thoughts out. And then again, like I kind of uh, had in my mind. I didn't write anything down about starting this podcast and the topics. I'll probably do that here in the future because I'm better when I'm organized, and we're trying to keep this to a half an hour. Which, if you all know me, I could talk way more than a half an hour. Um, yeah. So, as far as again, this podcast is going to go, we want to again focus on talking about battles, talking about events, talking about workshops, talking about dancers, talking about um, OGs. There's just a wide range of topics that we want to get into. Um, and we hope to bring guests on. We hope to be on the road to do this podcast. And yeah, hopefully be able to get this out to people so that they can understand what our community is about, understand the different styles that make up this street dance community, um, and again, be able to share each other's stories, be able to share stories of step by step, just behind the scenes. Yeah, it's just again, it's just such a cool opportunity to have this because you know, 2011 is when we started, and uh, now looking at almost 15 years just with step by step, 15 plus years for myself. It's almost going to be 20 years of throwing events next year, 2025. um, and just to be able to say, oh yeah, I remember, meeting this person in 2005, or watching these videos and dreaming of meeting this person, and I was able to do that, this year, or when I went to Juice Debut, or when I got to finally go to Red Bull BC1 in Japan, or those of that have been lost in this community that we remember, being able to be friends with Don Campbell, the creator of Locking. Again, there's so many stories that we want to tell, and we want the public just to be able to also listen and be encouraged that this is a very special community and culture, but it's also open to everybody. You know, Hip hop elements being peace, love, unity, and having fun, and that it's open. In fact, somebody on one of the comments on our Instagram today was just like, "Oh, is this open to the public?" It seemed like it was maybe a friend of the person that we were posting, and I just said, "Hey, of course, dance events are always open to the public, given a certain situation if there's like a private exhibition or something going on. But 99.9% of these events are always open to the public. We want the public to see what's going on in this community. We want to be able to unite all the different dance styles, outside of just even the street dance community. I know I've seen a lot of dancers doing freestyle events that include, other styles, and absolutely love that. But again, yeah, this is something. This is a podcast that we want to open up to the public so that they can understand, especially with the Olympics coming up this summer in Paris. It's going to open the public's eyes even more, not just to breaking, but to so many different styles. I feel like people are going to be calling their local studio or searching for their local event, with their the arts communities, or so it's just something that we trying to prepare for. And I think this podcast is going to be a great avenue for us to be able to get these thoughts out, and hear other people's opinions, other people's perspective, and where they've come from and where they're going. And that's why we keep stepping. So yeah, with that, I think we're just going to kind of move on. We've got about 10 more minutes left of this first podcast. So, yeah, just kind of a recap so far of 2024. We've been able to get out to four different events that I can think of. Man, it's already the end of February, middle end of February. So we've already been to three events that happened in Las Vegas. We went to Rich and Skills Alchemy Breaking Friday night, and then Saturday was Skills Talk um, there as well in Vegas. It was like the Super Bowl of Vegas events, the Super Bowl for like dance culture, because there was so many different events going on. Shout out to Denver and all the Rock Force crew that have been putting Skills Talk on. And then the third event was Full Force 29th anniversary. Big shout out to Ronnie and all of them. So there was definitely a lot of breaking. Man, these kids that are coming up, and when I say kids, I'm like 6 years old to, you know, 16, 17. I don't know what these parents are feeding them, but the training, these kids are just, they're taking out adults, yo. So it's really cool to be able to see how these kids are growing in the dance at such an early age, and to compare that to a kids in previous age, just ourselves, and the access I guess that we had is much more limited than the access that these kids have. The information wasn't always there in terms of, yeah, we're watching YouTube, we're watching tutorials. You can go on to different websites and do tutorials, but now these kids, man, they're leveling up beyond what I've ever seen. And in the freestyle game too, homies with Joe Styles, and watching Ellie come up, she is just so humble and kind to other kids and helping them and encouraging them. But she's just, she's crazy. Like she's about to just blow up, and she, you know, trains in different styles. So that was something I think that was the theme for all three of those events, is just watching these kids, um, San Diego, Vegas, Arizona, Utah, Colorado. And then if you just go again onto any of the social medias, you'll see kids from all over, all these viral videos in Asia or in Europe and Eastern Europe, Middle East. Um, Man, all these kids, they're just, it's so cool to see. And it's also cool to see some of those kids that are um like in their late teens, and then also in their early 20s, that I've been able to capture for so many years, and just being able to see them doing tours and doing shows. Like it's just such a cool opportunity to have watched and filmed them, and then see how far they've been able to go. So, um, yeah, I really enjoyed that weekend in Vegas. I met so many great people, and the events were just really well organized. I think that's really something that's important. And again, we all learn going from our first event to our second, our third, our fourth, all the way to, again, Breaking Hearts 21 or Freestyle Session 26. We always try to like find something that we can do better at, but I just thought everything was really well organized with these events. They were on time, they ended on time, or they ended early, and everybody was very helpful in cleaning up. So again, it's cool to see that events have evolved so much, and things happen. I understand sometimes. Being an event organizer myself, that there's going to be things that come up, and so you have to delay things, or people are ciphering and the vibe is feeling right, so you want to let them cipher a little bit longer. But again, I was just really impressed. Shout out to Alchemy Breaking, shout out to Skills Talk, shout out to Full Force for throwing such a great event and just making it a really great experience. um, all shout out to all the winners. Shout out to everybody that came through, breaking circles from Utah, Provo. Man, they showed up like 60 deep of like parents and kids, and people just in their circle. Uh, and so they really supported. So, and actually, Skills Talk like gave an award to B Boy Tarzan and to Breaking Circles just for bringing so many people and supporting, and that's what we need to do. Vegas needs to help support, go to Utah. Utah needs to go to Colorado. Like a bunch of these different places need to support each other. And it's just, really an opportunity and to learn and just say, wow, thank you so much for coming to support us. How can we support you? And that's what this community and culture should really be about. And so, resting up over this last month, I finally was able to make it back to Breaking Hearts. Big shout out to Sugar Shane. He has always been supporting me over the years, just with Step by Step, and he's brought me out to judge and teach back in 2014, I believe it was. And so it's been 10 years since I've seen the homie, and he brought me out there, and you can see some of the footage. Like the venue is really dope. They did it at the National Hispanic Center in Albuquerque. And yeah, the whole event again just organized really well. The workshops were on Friday night with Free Boogie and Joe Styles, and it was a donation. People donated because they had such a good time, and there were other events, like MC event, scratching event for DJ, beatbox. So there was all elements of hip hop culture, and it's become such a cool festival that Sugar Shane and Cyrus that they've been able to put for so many years in Albuquerque. So again, been 10 years, a great reunion. Albuquerque community is great. We had people from Mexico, people from Colorado. There's people from Arizona, Texas, like California, Vegas. Shout out to Knucklehead Zoo. But yeah, like people again, we're just able to come together in this really great event that's been going on, 21 different times over the years. And I think it's just something to be encouraged by and learn from these people. Reach out to these event organizers. They're willing to, talk to you about different topics. If you want to get into event organizing, if you want to throw your own events, talk to these people and reach out to them. They're more than willing. Shane is one of the nicest people. I mean, he was just thanking me, and I'm like, no, man, like thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to grow into uh this event, like to remember uh Marvel, rest in peace, to remember other dancers, other DJs that influenced me and helped me over the years, and that I can capture these dancers. So, again, I think the whole theme is like session practice and training. Like, what are those things that you can learn in your life, session, training, practicing, that will be able to help you not just in your dance, but in the things that you want to go for in life? Is this a practice? Is this a session? Is this a training? And I think that would be a really good way to kind of end this podcast for the first one. I apologize for my tangent thoughts. But again, I was just trying to lay all these different things out of my mind just to get it out here. Um, and I'm going to work on not saying so much. But I imagine we all are learning and on this, so I'm going to practice on not saying so much, and I'm going to train in keeping an organized list of things to discuss on this podcast and then session them out in the next podcast. So thanks again. This is Seabass with Step by Step and the Keep Steppin' podcast. We're going to come back to you next week, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Had to think about that. But yeah, if you have any topics you want us to discuss, we'd be glad to do that as well. And again, thanks for everybody who has been able to listen today. And we'll see you next time. Keep stepping. Peace.